up. What are you doing again? This is the one and only Packer Girl 89, and today's book nerdigan discussion is part 2 of Empower by Jessica Shervington. And if you have not read Embrace, Entice, Emblaze, um, Endless, Empower, or have watched any of my other book nerdigan discussion videos on those books, including part 1 for Empower, which I will have a link in the description. Seriously, what the commune Arceus are you doing here? You need to read these books. They are amazing. And the reason I started out with this series is because this is going to be the foundation to my hashtag Angel Readathon. And I will say right now, as I'm going through my Angel books, I'm definitely going to be referencing, I realized how much I am going to be referencing this series to the other books in my hashtag Angel Readathon. And yeah. Also, if also please donate to my Patreon. I would really appreciate it. I have a link in the description box for my Patreon as well. And as Minnie Popo is showing you right now, this is the beautiful cover of Empower by Jessica Shervington. Seriously, you guys, this book is amazing. And I'm sorry that I had to end it a little bit abruptly, but that was because my brother was calling me. It's kind of weird to shoot this at Struggle Ranch instead of hashtag Struggle Apartment Studios. So anyway, let's get back to where we left off. Ugh, I can't talk right now. Where we left off, which was where Violet and Lincoln were having their discussion. And yeah, seriously, I would have just taken off my clothes and just gotten with Lincoln at that point. But no! I don't get it! But anyway, so Violet explained the whole thing with Gray, and basically she saved Gray's ass using her blood to kill the Exiles. And her blood, Violet's blood is super powerful, and we learned this back in Jordan, and in Jordan as well as what was the other one? In Blaze, yeah, in Blaze as well. So there, and we learned that even Samuel wanted her blood, and we're gonna know why Samuel wanted her blood in this book nerdigan discussion as well. So, Gray saves her from the other Pravoda rogue, and all that Lincoln stayed with and all that. So we also find out that I'm sad I didn't get to mention this last time, but if you guys remember in my Endless Book Nerdigan discussion video, yeah, that I was hoping that we were going to get a Lincoln chapter, and I'm sad we didn't get a Lincoln chapter, but at the same time, the way Jessica Shervington wrote this, it's like wrote out Lincoln's story. It's like we really didn't need it, because Lincoln explains that he stayed with Violet's parents for a few days, and Lincoln was always one step behind Violet, and he saw Gray kissing Violet and realized that she had another life that didn't include him. And Lincoln has been fighting every day not to go search for her. And I was like, oh, Lincoln, oh. And then he says, it changes everything. I let you go because I thought you moved on. That I was ruined because I couldn't do the same. But if you could, then I really had no right to stand in your way. Where is this? But you're not fixed, are you? We're still us in all the terrible ways and none of the good. There's no way I'm going to stand by and let you walk out of my life again. And ew, that kiss. I love those. Jessica Shervington wrote this kiss. She's like, it says here, every sensation I'd spend every second of every day trying to suppress flame to life. Honey and warmth of the sun enveloped me, and my body tightened, and all that was bittersweet. It only lasted a few seconds, and I threw him off breathless. But no one forgets heaven, even if it only lasts for a few seconds. I was like thinking, damn, if that kiss is good, I want to kiss Lincoln like that. Why would you stop, Violet? Like, seriously, that was stupid. And we actually find out the feeling of being soul shattered, because remember, Violet brought Lincoln's soul back after he was soul shattered. His soul was shattered, and we also find something about Violet, because Violet came back after the soul was after Lincoln's soul was shattered, because she was killed. So Lincoln was said on his soul's being shattered. He described it. This is what he said. He said it was an intense cold, but so much worse. And everything felt twisted inside, like it was all on the verge of converging and exploding at the same time. And then on top of it all, I was something. It was something so suffocating and inescapable, because it was locked. I was locked in my own body. And Violet said, "Where are you?" Here we go. And Violet said, after Phoenix killed, this was important. After Phoenix killed me and brought me back, my soul couldn't find you. It hadn't experienced that disconnection in the way yours had, but it responded nonetheless. The pain was there in all of its glory, but I didn't shatter completely. Although there are times I wish for it, it never leaves. From the moment I was revived, it never left. You call me a coward for turning off my emotions, but without my shield, I'd just be just as insane as an exile. And seriously, Lincoln's right. You did the same for him, Violet, because if you remember in which one was it? If you remember in Entice, Violet actually healed Lincoln's heart. I don't remember if it was his soul, but I think it was mainly his heart that she healed. So, I loved that Lincoln twisted her words. He's like, did you give up everything so that I could live? And seriously, don't ask him to leave. And it was like, motherfucker, why? And I was like, after this, I was like, fuck, I want Lincoln. Like, seriously, damn it. Like, I will say, I know my subscribers that are in Soda Nation will want me to say it, so yes, the dehydration is real. The Book Nerdigan dehydration is real. I will totally admit that, because Lincoln is hot, and he is amazing. This is what he said. He said, I walked away that night in London. I was wrong. I should have never given up. I think of all that time we denied our feelings for one another, all that lost time. And I think of the past year lost too. And to now know that you live in every breathing moment in intolerable pain, on top of the heartache of us not being together. I'll walk out of here tonight to let you get some sleep, but hear me clearly when I tell you no, in no uncertain terms, under no circumstances, Violet, will I ever leave you again. And I'm just like, oh my God. Yeah, that is character development, motherfucker. Thank you. So now we get to the weighing of the souls, and I know this is what you guys have been waiting for. You've been waiting for more mythology. I'm sorry I'm making my videos really long, but seriously, I'm doing 2 parts because it's like I have to appreciate the good writing, and I also have to do my analogies here. Seriously, otherwise I'm being a nerd again. Let me just be a nerd in here. But anyway, so we have the Bible version of weighing of souls as a judgment day type of thing, which we will see a lot. You will see a similar thing going on in the hashtag Angel Readathon. I've noticed it in a couple of other, in some of the other books that I'll get to later on. So, but this is what Steph said. The day we have our souls weighed, and each and every one of us will be judged. And it's kind of like a red light, green light on the heaven and hell spectrum. That's what it made me think of. And this is what the Roman Catholics say on weighing of the souls: that you will gather the souls of the righteous and the wicked, place us on your great scales and weigh our deeds. That if we have been loving and kind, that you will take the key around our neck and open the gates of paradise, inviting us there to live forever. And that if we have been selfish and cruel, it is you who will banish us. And it turns up everywhere and goes as far back as Egyptian mythology. And I knew it sounded familiar because if you guys have read the Kane Chronicles by Rick Riordan, Osiris does it, and if you remember in the Starling trilogy by Leslie Livingston, when we went into Anubis' realm, that happened. The scales were in there as well. So the concept of final judgment is almost in every religion, And I love the look on Gray's face when he got compared to being compared to Griffin, and they're like, Gray can't handle being compared to Griffin. And Lincoln, oh my God, this was great. So Lincoln apologized to Gray, and see, Lincoln would have done, and I loved it. Lincoln would have done the same shit. He and Great minds think alike, and damn, like Lincoln means business. He's like doing all this PDA, and I'm like, oh my coming Arceus, Lincoln. And I love Zoe. Zoe was great. She's like, someone should record this for Onyx. What? He'll only make us retell the whole conversation a dozen times if we don't. And Violet's like, Christ, she has a point. I was like, oh my God, someone get the popcorn. Someone get the bourbon. Seriously, the PDA. So like, well, can I keep the PDA linking? Seriously, I want this. And I love what he says too. He's like, "Don't you think we've had enough of that?" Personally, I was thinking it's time for something else. Getting on with the rest of our lives together. And I'm like thinking, where's the blonde Gregory named Lincoln when you need him? Seriously. So I thought, like, now that I'm looking at my notes, I'm like thinking, wait a minute. I thought we were gonna get Nyla's soul after Spence, but I guess not. We're getting Spence, but I guess Violet changed her mind. And apparently it's only possible for Raynor to be able to save Nyla's soul because I guess when you're twins, you share the same soul. That's what they're saying. And Nyla, and they go up, and Nyla actually forgives Phoenix, which I thought was great. And Phoenix says that Lockbit is not going to be happy with Violet. And they made it. They actually made it. They didn't think they were going to make it because, like, Violet was bleeding through her nose and her eyes, and it came at a price, too. And Lincoln had to kiss Violet to heal her since she was choking on her own blood. And I loved it when she woke up and Gray came in. It was so awesome. So this is what Gray said. He said, the man can be quite insistent when he wants to be. No one was allowed within 10 bloody feet of you. I'm flippin' serious. There's a doctor outside with a badly broken nose to prove it. And anyway, I figured you'd want to be up and about to get on with saving your friend. And for that, you're going to need to be vertical. Though to be frank, I won't deny that there's a horizontal activity I think you'd highly benefit from. And Lincoln's just like smirking in the corner. And Violet's like, yeah, Lincoln, just keep on smirking. And by the way, Nyla was back and it worked. And Griffin is coming in next couple of days and said Violet did good and about time she's back in the game. And Lincoln said what Violet did was amazing. Like, because Lincoln and Violet, were kind of bickering. And it kind of reminded me of that, of when Violet and Spence went after, were tailing Olivier, or not Olivier, Oliver, to go rescue the kid. And you know what I'm talking about, when she was texting Lincoln, and she saw that final text from Link, but Lincoln said, I love what Lincoln said, what Violet did was amazing, even if she almost killed herself. And guess what happened? Phoenix exiled to save Violet, and yes, Phoenix and Violet are BFFs, and I loved, guys, seriously, why do you have to grunt? I love that Phoenix, because Phoenix and Lincoln exchanged a few grunts. I love it. Seriously, do you guys, like, I don't know, like, none of my guy friends do that. Like, or at least the guys that are fighting for my affection, they don't grunt. I guess Phoenix and Lincoln are just weird like that. Seriously, I loved it when Violet shows the haters who's in charge. That was great. So now we got Decima, who's going to tell us about Samuel. So basically, Samuel's the arch enemy of the Prince of Elect, Michael. And Samuel is a little bit different in the Angel Fire series, which I will get to see, this is why I name fight. This is the foundation to my hashtag Angel Readathon. So Samuel is the arch enemy of the Prince of Elect, Michael. And Michael and Jesus are one of the same. Yeah, so you Christians that believe in Jesus being resurrected, yeah, he's actually Michael. Yep, Jesus is Michael, people. Lucifer is Michael's perfect opposite as the Prince of Dark. They serve a purpose. Their functions at opposite ends of the spectrum, but they have always remained true, unlike Samuel, who believes his purpose entitled him to more than his function. And Samuel was the angel of death. And I love that at the end of the chapter, like, Violet's like, splendid. Oh, yes, and yay, Josephine isn't being a bitch like Drenson is. And seriously, thank you, Phoenix, for giving, and thank you, seriously, Phoenix, for giving Josephine some insight on what the future holds. But Drenson's still an asshole. See, I told you, Drenson is an asshole. And Mia and Violet talk awkward. That was really like an awkward turtle moment. There you go. And it turns out Mia likes Spence, and she's coming because Violet can heal her. And I feel so bad for Hero because he can't fight anymore. So now we have Dapper on Samuel. Let's see what he says. He's an exile on light, and he believes in superiority over dark. He drives the war. Samuel found a way to cross the realms after he first exiled, and most believe he only exiled because he knew the way to return. Because he knew that once he assumed a physical form, the angels would need to appear that way to him in the crossover as well. Somehow he opened the gateway and used his magic to summon a great dragon, riding it to the battlefield between the realms. And that explains all the weird dreams that Violet has been having. And he fought Michael and was defeated. Michael stripped part of Samuel's power so that he could never cross the realms again, but Samuel escaped before he could be thrown into the pits, swearing he would rebuild the world and man in his image. Samuel is said to be a magician with the ability to go beyond mere illusion to something much more tangible. It's possible that this land he inhabits was never intended for this world. So, you see how there's a little bit of Eisen-esqueness to Samuel here? And a little bit of Bachness to him? Yeah. Yeah, if you, I'm just going to tell you guys, read the Bleach manga. You will understand what I'm talking about. Otherwise, this video is going to be way too long. So, Dapper on New Orleans. But perhaps he brought it up from beneath the sea, because it was so close to his slaves and worshippers. Read the pages I gave you. But in short, New Orleans is just across the water from Haiti, where Voodoo was born, a religion that worships the dead. There are some who argue that it was Samuel, the angel of death, who created the religion and brought it to New Orleans, turning it into voodoo. And I love Onyx's 2 cents. It was great. If I did it, it's gone from my mind. If I did, it's gone from my mind. My memory conjures up nothing but fury and fear every time I hear his name. When I think of New Orleans, I feel nothing but bloodlust. Well, thanks for your contribution, Onyx. Seriously. So Dapper on Lilith and Samuel. Lilith and Samuel have crossed paths more than once in human form. They formed a secret alliance among things, and Phoenix will be able to tell you more, but it's safe to say it was a volatile relationship based on keeping one's enemies closer. That's not the case in every Angel series, and we'll get to that later on in the hashtag Angel Readathon. So, I love it. Phoenix, seriously, like when they were on the plane, and Violet was walking on the plane, and she noticed that like Carter and Milo and Taxi got their asses handed to him, and Phoenix is just like has this smug look on his face. I was cracking up. It's like, seriously, Phoenix, play nice with the rogue. And yay, we get another Phoenix chapter. I love the Phoenix chapters. They're amazing. It's something I will complain about the chapters that we should have gotten, and maybe we will get a third book in the Disruption series because of it. I would love that, please. So, let's see. So on so this is what Lilith said, or not Lilith, what Phoenix said on Samuel. He said he owed Lilith and she was collecting. And there are Nephilim in New Orleans, also lots of old exiles of light and no exiles of dark, and they are not as old as Aaron. And Gray mobilized the rogue, which was kind of scary. I note to self, exiles are on Bourbon Street. And seriously, Violet, I was so surprised by how much of a prude Violet is. I don't know if it's because she's just a Gregory or what, but damn, Violet is a prude. I thought it was sweet when Lincoln was showing Violet around New Orleans, especially since New Orleans kind of means something to him because of the whole thing with his mom, so I thought it was sweet. And they went to a jazz club, which I would have totally loved to go. to. And by the way, I have never been to New Orleans, so Lincoln, you can take me to New Orleans anytime. Or any men that are similar to Lincoln, please take me to New Orleans. But I'd rather go to Hawaii. But anyway, does Lincoln still dread Violet? Because remember, you guys remember in Blaze, Lincoln said that he dreaded Violet the most. And he said, I stopped trying to deny this love a long time ago. I'm not afraid of us being together anymore. Not one bit. Violet, I breathe you. I live you. I love you. The only thing I dread is another moment of my life without you as mine. The way I'm forever yours. And I was like, at that point, I was crying happy tears. And I'm like, I need a man or a Gregory like this. Seriously. Why are the good ones only in books? God damn it. And what sealed the deal for me, for Lincoln, which put him up ahead of the Fenris Wolf, was when he said this about the nicknames. Oh my God. Oh, but I do, baby. I just wasn't sure if you were ready to hear them. I was like, okay, yeah, Lincoln, you win this round. So here we go. The Birth of Voodoo, just in case you haven't read Gods and Monsters by Kelly Keaton, which you should read, people. In the 1830s, Marie Laveau became the first voodoo queen. She was a devout Catholic and brought many to the Catholic religion, performing public rituals right behind the St. Louis Cathedral. She took the religion to new heights, declaring herself the Pope of Voodoo and recruiting new followers by introducing prayers and saints. And it makes you wonder if she was possessed by Samuel, which she actually was. Some see her as a cult leader and devil worshiper, and others wanted to see her sainted. Some say she brought the darkest of magic. Others say she represented the good in spirit and nature. And Lincoln believes she was a Nephilim, but I don't remember. We'll get to that in a little bit later. And remember, ghost stories start somewhere, and Samuel probably did it, and this is according to Lincoln. So we have Daphne LaLaurie, who tortured and murdered a great number of slaves, and she and her husband disfigured them and left them half dead and chained to her stove. And they were only found after her house caught on fire. She escaped before anyone could stop her. The Sultan Massacre in the late 1800s. They kept a mansion in the French Quarter like the LaLauries, but his was famous for parties, opiums, and a harem of women and young boys. Yeah, this is the Neverland Ranch. Let's just go with that. Michael Jackson's ghost is probably going over there at some point. Until one day the house suddenly fell silent. When the authorities went in, they found the floors thickly covered in blood and dismembered body parts strewn throughout the house. The Sultan was the only one left in place, and left in one piece, in a shallow grave in the garden, his hand reaching out as if he were buried alive. No one ever found out who was responsible. Yeah, he is a zombie. We got the zombie. Lincoln on Samuel being behind this. I think so. It makes sense. If he saw this land as his, he would pride himself on controlling people, leading them to do unspeakable acts. But if any of them became too powerful, he would have been quick to erase him. I was so happy when Lincoln actually listened to Violet and this time entrusted Violet to handle herself against the exiles, even when they're with a gun pointed at her. Seriously, exiles, are you fucking stupid? Why would you use a gun against a Gregory? Are you retarded? Seriously, Gregory can heal themselves. Oh my, call me an artist, you guys are dumb. I thought this was interesting. So Violet called Evelyn to find out why the power ring. I chose that rank because I knew that powers are loyal to a fault. They're self-sacrificing, and as a result of all the angelic ranks, powers are the least likely to exile. More than anything, they are territorial and the strongest of fighters. Their inclination to protect is ingrained in them, and I knew it would be an asset to you as a partner. And she knew Lincoln would die for her. Yeah, that description is Lincoln to a T. Totally is. And it's about fucking time you let Lincoln fix you. And actually, this is Violet's reasoning. Actually, it was the quiet. I found my life in the quiet. See, I told you she was trying to find herself. And that's what she needed, was the freaking quiet. And all I could see and hear and smell and feel was you, us. And I was totally crying at this point. I want you nerdigans to please tell me if you guys were crying, especially you women, female nerdigans. I was crying happy tears at this point when Lincoln said this. And men, you need to do this. This is how you get us women to like fall for you. He said, this will be for life, for eternity, human and beyond, more than any commitment in marriage. Violet, are you ready to marry me? And I was like, yes, yes, yes. And Violet says, as long as we're together, I'm ready for everything. And I was just like Lincoln was like, just like, hold on. He like walked out of the room for a second. And I'm like thinking, okay, something's going on. And before I go any further, I gotta say again, Susan E., if you are watching this Book Nerdigan discussion video, which I hope you do, but I don't think you will, remember when I said that I like in my love scenes that I like it when it is when it's very discreet and it fits in with the theme and it fits with the story and everything like that. This is what good writing is, especially for a love scene. I have to tell you right now, Jessica Shervington knows how to write a love scene. She does. Just hold on a second. It says, oh, here we go. It says here, how about you let me worry about that? You might be able to do extraordinary things, but baby, I was made for you. And I'm about to find all the little pieces. I'm going to search your entire body, every single inch, and I'm going to build the world a queen. And, holy shit. Ugh. Sorry, I had to do that real quick. And I'm like thinking, can I have this man, please? A man will take me apart and rebuild a queen? Like, seriously, I want that. And Violet is loud, and I'm thinking, seriously, who else? I'm going to raise my hand. I probably would be like that too. And Lincoln fixed Violet's soul, and at the same time, they became soulmates. And again, I love this writing. Here we go. At some point, my screams of pain turned into something else altogether as our powers finally merged completely for what we both knew was the beginning of our forever. And I'm like, I'm going to cry happy tears. It's so beautiful. I love this writing. And I love that the next morning, the whole house, probably the whole street heard. Oh, I was like, oh my God. That might have been me too. I love it. And smart thinking, Lincoln, for getting extra external protections. And like Violet's like, we should have waited. And Lincoln's like, no, we shouldn't. And Samuel, so basically Samuel wants to use Violet's blood to cross the realm to fight Michael. And I love it when Violet comes downstairs for breakfast and she's like, screw it. Everyone heard it last night anyway. Might as well make out with Lincoln in front of everyone. And yes, they all cheered. I was like, thank you. And the exiles have spent on a big-ass glamour steamboat. And according to Dapper via Steph, Samuel did create the city of New Orleans. So it makes him God. This makes him like Bach. Yeah, this is a Bach moment. It is. And was in fact one of Marie Laveau's husbands. Through her, Samuel controlled the worship and religion, but Samuel is voodoo. He used Nephilim and exiles to create illusion and influence human minds. He was behind the terrible slaughters, massacres, natural disasters like the floods and the hurricanes, yellow fever epidemic. And Samuel would attack his own city because it is sinking, and 70% of the city is already below sea level and is protected by the surrounding levees. And what Phoenix said is he's losing his hold of his land. It's the natural order. The land was never intended for the air, but for the sea. It will be returned. It must. And Samuel is basically created his own Sodom and Gomorrah. And when it comes to God and entire cities have lost their way, basically he wants to destroy New Orleans. And only will happen when he gets what he wants, which is to create a new world by killing the wearer of the souls. So, holy call me an Arceus, Samuel was once an angel of the soul. He wants to kill Michael, who is the wearer of the souls, the commander-in-chief, most loyal and ruthless, and above all irreplaceable. And by killing Michael, Samuel will eliminate humanity's ultimate judgment, thereby removing the greatest of consequences, heaven and hell, and take away accountability. Conscience will soon follow, and the world will slip into anarchy with Samuel as its new god. And I'm just like thinking to myself, man, I wonder if this is what Bach wanted to do with Soul Society. I'm curious if that's why Bach wanted to do that with Soul Society. But anyway, that's a whole different manga nerdigan thing. But I want to mention this too before I move on to the next thing. Is that what is it? It kind of like the way she worded it. It totally makes me think of politics with accountability. And look at a good example is Greece. Look at how Greece is. You're taking away the accountability of Greece paying back its debt, and look at all the crap that they're dealing with in Greece. I'm just saying. And I kind of like, and I'm gonna, I'll probably mention it in the disruption, but I kind of like that Jessica Shervington wrote Disruption after this series, because it's a good way to do it. But she kind of took it to an extreme. She kind of took this concept and took it to an extreme. It was really interesting, and I'll explain it in the next Book Nerdigan discussion. And I want to make a correction. Carter's Strength is a 5-second rewind. Weiss is more of like a few-minute rewind. So I just wanted to correct that. So basically, auras, because Violet is using her sight, and she could see auras. So Exiles are usually red, and Gregory's are different shades of color, and Violet was a rainbow, an anomaly. And I loved it when she used her sight, and Lincoln still had his green aura, but right at the center, color bled out, and his heart is for Violet. And I was like, oh, that's so sweet. So we get to Samuel. He took control over Spence's mind, and it's like, God, curse you, damn fucker. And he will return it if Violet takes him across the realm. And Lincoln is going with him this time. We're going this time. So, and confession to the Assembly about Violet's power. And wow, I was so surprised Josephine accepted that with grace. Dresden, not so much. He did not accept that with grace. He was a total prick. As I said, this is about Dresden being an asshole. And seriously, I love it when, oh, wait a minute. So, this was so freaking crazy. Oh, yeah, and Josephine accepted that Violet is going to fight Samuel, which was a huge thing, because if you remember in Blaze, she did not want Violet fighting Phoenix at all. So, yeah, the character development alert. So, Holy Homeostasis. Even if Violet wins the battle against Samuel, the concentration of too many exiles, because of the concentration of too many exiles in one place, the angels will destroy New Orleans with the hurricane and send them to the pits of hell. And I love it when they're on the Navy ship, and the Navy soldiers are just like totally gelling on their swagger, and it's like, Navy boys, eat your heart out. You have to be born for this job, and you are just the wheelbarrows. And so this situation, according to Phoenix, is Violet's Gordian knot. So, and I love that Phoenix is going to go control the Nature Wielders. After all, Lincoln said you are one of us. And I was like, oh, Lincoln. Lincoln is more secure now, so, because Violet is his. And I thought this was sweet that Lincoln had dinner prepared for Violet and said that what's his is hers, including the warehouse and money, which means they are wealthy. And after this battle, they are going to have to make some choices about where they are going to live. And I was like, oh, battle first, the choices. I love this goddamn writing. Later, when I woke him with gentle kisses to his face and down to his chest, I laughed when he grabbed me in response, pulling my mouth up to his in order to explain in his own toe-curling way that gentle kisses were simply not going to cut it. I never felt so beautiful or loved or cherished or flat out wanted. Years of imagination had gone into these moments, and they did not disappoint. Bottom line, it was hot. He was hot. I'm like, okay, I need a Gregory named Lincoln stat, people. Nerdigans, seriously. And on the run, Lincoln and Violet discover the light exiles have taken over the French Quarter, and the dark exiles are in the warehouse district, which is dangerous. And Dapper said that Hurricane Isaac was diverted by the angels and it could have destroyed New Orleans, but then it changed directions. And over 2,000 Gregory showed up, including Griffin. And Griffin brings a message from Nyla. The bond was worth it, and thank you. And I was like, yo, Nyla. And Josephine smiled at Lincoln and Violet holding hands. It must be a muscle spasm. I thought that was funny. And this is how to make an entire Navy destroyer able to hear a pin drop. If you are very lucky, what is it that bothers you, Drenson? That she is powerful, Violet, you know, is powerful, or that she is more powerful than you would ever hope to be? I was like thinking, go Lincoln. And seriously, go Josephine and Gregory for wanting to follow Violet and Lincoln. That is amazing, because Josephine would be the one to direct shit. So we have 5 teams chosen and assigned by Lincoln. So we have the glamour, team 1 is the glamour users to go with the conductors to hide the battle from human eyes. And we have team 2 of the frontline fighters, all gifted warriors that would be led by Seth and Decima. And I love the writing that goes with it, but I don't want to quote all of it. So we have 2, 3, the cunning roads led by Carter and Gray. And team 4, we have the heavy lifters and telekinetics that will be working on and off with team 5. And when not working with team 5 on the ground fighting. And they're led by Josephine and Griffin. And then we got the nature users led by Phoenix. And I love Lincoln. I love what Lincoln said. He's like, I just made Josephine and her team answerable to a dark exile. And I was like thinking, where's Onyx when you need him? He would have been loving this shit. Hashtag sipping the bourbon. Wow, rogues never served anyone. Huge step for Gray. And I love what he said. I've been honored to follow you, Princess. I've been following you since the day you showed up in my city a year ago. You just never realized. And my service remains yours eternally. And I was like, aw. And yay, Dapper and Onyx show up. And seriously, this is another thing you will see in the hashtag Angel Readathon. Why do they always go for the neck? Even Drenson, that stupid bastard, and thank Connie Lincoln got his ass off of her. And and then we have the writing of the exiles, which was, I was like, holy shit. So Samuel is in an building that is in the shape of a cross. You've got to love the irony of that. Seriously, you have to love the irony that Samuel is in at the top of a building that is in the shape of a cross. Why can't it be a pentagon, goddammit? I love what Violet said. Seriously, about time, Violet. I'm not saying goodbye, just that I get it now, that saying a life without love is no life at all. It's true, and now, live or die, I know I've really experienced life with you. And I was like, oh, Violet, that's so sweet. And then Lincoln's like, and you and I will experience everything this world has to offer, and then we will grow old with our family. And it's like, whoa, Lincoln wants kids? Gotta wonder if they're gonna be Gregory or not. But that means one of them has to die. Or does it? I don't know. We don't know how kids of 2 Gregory are. That's interesting. I want to know what you guys think of if a kid born of 2 Gregory will still be a Gregory. I'm just curious, and what rank they would be. And Samuel drew a live pentagram on top of the roof with blood and salt. Salt represents this earth you see. This is according to Samuel. All rituals require unions, blood, light, earth, and sacrifice. With my power and your blood, the life force of angels, I can cross the realms and he will meet me. And this is Samuel on the exile tournament. It is the dawn of all tomorrows, and I will be gods to all who survive. Let's say I'm just trimming the fat. Oh my commie Archie, that is such an Eisen and Bach thing to say. Violet turned 4 exiles human, and Samuel threw 4 humans off the roof. Got to love the equivalent exchange. Yeah, we're having a full FMA moment here. Oh shit, remember the chalice that was the Jordan, aka the tabernacle? Samuel has one, but Violet has to fill it up with her blood. Oh my god. Oh my god, me and Archie, that's fucking... Do you guys remember how big that was? And that was when Violet, Jude, and Phoenix had to fill that shit up. So Samuel released Spence's mind. If Violet backs down, his exile-made witches will hunt Spence down and bring his mind back. So that's the real voodoo. And oh yeah, Chloe called Spence's alert and demanding his dagger. Yeah, Spence is back, bitches. And after Samuel filled it with Violet's blood, he threw her out of the pentagram, mixed some of his own blood into the chalice, and threw the dagger off the roof. The witches separated the blood into two separate bowls and threw it into the year to create a black rainbow. Yeah, and Holy Kami and Arceus, people, Violet's angel maker is the one and only Michael, and Lincoln and Violet cross the realms. We see Michael and Lucifer, plus an army of angels being challenged by Samuel. So Lincoln's greatest sacrifice is letting Violet challenge Samuel. Oh, see? Character development! Lincoln is letting her do this. This is fantastic. And I love what Violet says to Samuel. It's fantastic. You challenge my maker, and so you challenge me. If you wish to fight him, you have to defeat me first. And then we got Samuel versus Violet, the final duel. And seriously, thank Kami for the training with Lincoln, Griffin, Nyla, Rainer, and Gray. But in round one, Violet still got her ass handed to her with slashes to the shoulder, thigh, and the stomach. Oh, and a kick to the head, too, because as Decima warned her, you can't defeat Samuel with no heart. It wasn't about risking it all. It was about fighting to keep it. And I fucking love this writing. I gotta read the quote because it's beautiful. And I'm gonna read the quote for the final blows too. It was, god damn, it was amazing. So fighting for our life together, our love to go on, fighting for our right and free will, to be human, to be flawed, to be fragile and heartily, and to have the chance to make every mistake, but then somehow get it right. In the final moment, when Samuel was about to cut off her head, Violet ducked and he cut the braid instead. See, long hair saves lives. And then she stabbed him in the lung with her katana. And the final blow, here we go. The arm resting loosely at my side drew back and then swiftly forward, jamming Samuel's own sword, the one that had landed at my knees, into his stomach. You dropped something. Yeah, consequence is a bitch. And because of everything that was at stake, and just because I didn't want for him to fall or disappear, or even be taken away by the angels, instead I pulled both blades back wide in one final show, and in one final show of speed and strength, scissored them straight into his neck. Samuel and I both fell to the ground together, but he would never rise again. This is Kill la Kill type shit. If you have not watched Kill la Kill, seriously, watch Kill la Kill, especially the second half. I had to be an anime nerd again here because that was when she scissored his head off. Oh my Kami, that was amazing. And Yuri on how the Kami and Arceus Lincoln is standing for the both of them. Seriously, you are because Violet obviously can't stand. You are strong, made of power. Your destinies have always been entwined, but destiny must also be chosen. It was never a matter of if, but rather when and how. Like all things of greatness, when used to cause harm, your union brought devastation. You have both fought against your souls, and it was useful and painful as hiding from air when it is the very thing most fundamental to your survival. Yeah, Yuri and angels in general, yeah, they are cryptic, and comprehension is always in the eye of the beholder. And Yuri's meaning of surrender that day in the desert when Violet embraced was to surrender her heart to herself, so basically to Lincoln. And through surrender, you'll find your salvation and your ultimate power. For she may be our Keshet, our rainbow, but you are what brings her light. Why do you think she had to wait so long for her? Yes, the angels always wanted you to be together. No fucking shit. Of course, your power is in your balance, in your surrender to your purest emotion of love. Humans strive for it. Humans strive for love. It is the one thing they give the most, and yet fear they receive the least. You are strange creatures, and yet it is your ability to love that this way that makes you capable of the extraordinary. Seriously, this was like, I want to say this was Aizen type shit, but in a good way. It was. And I love Prince of the Malign Lucifer. I love what he says. Oh, everyone knows my name, at least one or two of them. But I prefer you simply think of me as the one who shines the brightest. Yeah, people, Lucifer and Michael do not hate each other. They don't. And I love what Michael said. Michael cleared his throat, cutting him off, but when they looked at each other, their eyes shared a brotherhood and fondness that was distant yet true, light and dark, elect and malign, united as has always been. I just like that Michael had to clear his throat to shut him up. That was funny. Also, Michael and the Angels can return to the space that they and Violet created if they wish to do so. And it kind of reminds me, the space reminds me of Everyland in the Starcross series a little bit. I don't know what you guys think. The Starcross series by Josephine Angelini. It totally does. And Michael was shocked that Violet didn't care to ask/know about God, and Violet doesn't sweat the small stuff. I love that was her reason. And when Lincoln and Violet crossed the realm, something odd happened. Quote, I was sure that the last thing I saw thousands of angels laughing, and the sound soul churning, like a choir of harps, the soul trumpet rising above, heralding a new era. And now we get to Saving New Orleans. Oh shit. Where are we? Fuck. Here we go. Violet needs to give the angels a reason to stop the hurricane. So the ocean of exile smited Milo. Oh my god, that sucks. Milo is dead. Seriously, Kami, why must you smite it, Milo? You bastard. And Drenton, you bastard, you have no honor hitting Violet in the back of the head with a dagger. Adele is dead. And Violet was right. Fucker doesn't care about anything else but power. And then he said, because Violet said she was sorry, and then Drenton said, you should be. Without her voting favor, it's only a matter of time I lose my seat. It was enough to have that bitch Josephine control me at every turn, but not you, he spat. I have hundreds of years ahead of me. I won't live in shame while you steal everything that is mine. And then Spence stabbed Drenton between the shoulder blades. Spence is stacked, bitches. And then he says, always got your back, Eden. I was like, yes, I love Spence. Spence stole the show right there. Spence is like the best he is the best book best friend. I'm sorry, Maddox, he totally wins. And I love it. Violet was dealing with the Academy politics. So Phoenix is channeling the hurricane, pulling the power to him and sending it back to the sea, which will tear him in two. And I love what Phoenix said right here. He says, "You always worry about becoming a new angel, but can you finally see you were always becoming the best kind of human." And Violet used the power of her sight and sucked every exile, including Phoenix, even though she tried to avoid it in her power, and turned them all human. And then Michael, after all this, Michael appeared in lion form and he used his mighty roar to stop the storm. The hurricane pulled into a gentle tornado that traveled back out to sea, nudged and licked Phoenix, and then left. It's like, okay. And well, Violet's power of sight is gone for now anyway. And Phoenix actually looks happy that he's fully human because, remember, Phoenix felt like he was trapped. So, and Violet is in and out of consciousness. Well, yeah, with blood coming out of her eyes and nose, she should be out for a while. And according to Griffin, Violet's range hadn't been more than 12 blocks. And the Navy detained the now human exiles, and, well, the ones who hadn't killed themselves or already fled. And, LOL Spence, it's like Fort Knox getting to see Violet since the Rogue took it upon themselves to add extra security. And Mia and Chloe are like pit bulls, too. And Spence has no regrets about killing Drenton, and this is, Violet can hear them, she's just unconscious. And, no, he wasn't locked up for it. Thank you! If Violet chooses to live with the Rogue, that's where Lincoln is going. I was like, oh. And, like, while Violet's unconscious, Steph is talking about her, comes in to visit and talks about her wedding plans. And I was like, oh, this part. Dabber read books to me, ancient tales intended for a few to hear. And Onyx came with him, throwing in his own biased recollections of particular events. I was like, oh, that's so sweet. And Violet's power is dormant. She can't heal herself. And Lincoln and Phoenix have an understanding and come to terms. And yay, Violet wakes up after having her light flash before her eyes, kind of thing. Well, up until Link's first kiss, anyway. And Michael comes for both of them, of course. Lincoln is there when Violet wakes up, duh. And I love when Michael cracked the joke, which was, do you fear she may suffer a medical emergency while under my care? And Violet's like, did Michael just crack a joke? And Michael takes Lincoln and Violet to a field of lilies beneath a violet sky and golden sun. And it's Violet's painting, if you guys remember that. Or as Michael says, it's her heart. And Yuri and Nox appear behind Michael, and Michael offers them the final binding. They join their left hands, and a light pressure begins to build, and something akin to an electrical current ran through our hands, causing us both to flinch. When I looked down, I saw a new marking, intricate like the designs on my wrist markings, again with tiny wisps like feathers, but so much finer. A ring on my wedding finger, and another on Lincoln's, matching in design, but whereas mine is purple with a shimmer like stars in the night, Lincoln's was silver, just like my wrist. And this is what Michael said. In Hebrew, amethyst means dreamstone. And then he bowed to them. The soul bowed to them. Yeah, that's big shit. May your dreams be many. And Violet asked him, will she see him again? If you need me, yes, so it is unlikely. You know who you are and what you can do. We do not run. We do not quit. Life, child. Is life not the greatest fairy tale of them all? I thought that was sweet that he used her analogy against them, or her philosophy against her. I thought that was great. And Violet gave the space to the angels and used all 5 of her senses to do this. I love this. This was so cool. I breathed deeply and brought forward the conflicting sensations I'd always felt in my blood and bones. Rivers of cool, lands of warmth. I thought the sounds of birds flying and trees blowing in the wind. I drew on the smell of flowers, in particular white lilies, and all that they invoked, and then the flash of morning and evening, and finally the taste of apple. And slowly I opened my eyes. Before me was a vast meadow of rolling hills with a carpet of white flowers and trees in the distance, birds circling and swooping. The rainbow shone brightly, casting a light, and in the center a tree busting with bright red apples. And nothing was really beyond the field, which gives the angels something to create. And it totally still reminds me of Everyland in a way. I was like, seriously, tell Michael, Violet. Rest your pride, Michael. Rest your pride, and maybe we can all evolve. I was like, yeah, that's the words of wisdom. Griffin thinks Violet is just burned out and will take a bit for her to come back online. And more than 200 Gregory died in the battle, which is the most in Gregory history. And Seth and Decima died doing what they love to fight. And Gray died too. And I was like, no. I was so sad because you saw that Gray died. It's like, why did you spite him? And Gray died protecting another young Gregory and got stabbed in the chest. And I love what Violet said. She said, love you, Gray. Thank you for dancing with me. And everyone in the assembly stared at Violet. And Gray's last words to Carter, purple is the color of royalty. Protect her always. And Carter and all the rogues got down to their right knee and bowed their heads. One by one, all of the Gregory followed suit. Even Seth. And Nyla and Griffin are partners. Yay! I knew they were going to be partners. And they will be honoring Rudyard every day together. Oh, so sweet. And Josephine, I was so amazed with Josephine. Leaders simply are. And she nailed. She fucking nailed. And Violet said, but it is I who will serve you. And then she bowed. And Violet has been unanimously elected as the head of the World Assembly. And Gregory Law states that you may nominate your assembly at the commencement of your leadership. However, following that, any amendments would be voted by a vote of your peers. And this is Violet's assembly. Seth and Decima seats be replaced by Rogues, Carter, and Taxi. And Rainer, Wilhelm, Hakan, and Valerie will get to keep their seats for now if they choose, but shit is changing. Drenton's dictatorship is over. And Josephine will get to keep her place as long as she knows her place as the vice. And until Violet is ready, hell, she's only 20, Griffin will take her place as the head of the World Assembly. And why Josephine brought Violet back to Lincoln, I hope that you really were what my instinct whispered. All I care about is the cause. So while there are many things in my life that I regret, this is not, nor will it ever be one of them. And avoid the wrath of pre-ride Steph. She is scarier than any Gregory warrior. And Phoenix is happy that he's human, and for the first time he's looking forward to living, and no woman has thrown herself at him since the change. I was laughing. I was like, wow. And Phoenix is leaving for good to find his own happiness and his own love, which is like bittersweet to me. I don't know what you guys think. And then we have Steph's wedding in Central Park with lots of glamour users put a dome over Central Park, and the nature users went crazy. And seriously, Gregory, you guys can plan my wedding when I have one. And I thought it was so sweet that Dapper walked Steph down the aisle, and yes, she carried a bouquet of daisies and a vintage Chanel wedding dress. And Steph's parents were too wrapped up in their own lives to come to the wedding, but insisted on paying for it. And much to Onyx's horror, and Onyx kind of reminded me of Anthony from Sex and the City. At this moment, Steph returned most of the money minus the cost of the dress. And yay, Father Peters married them. I was so happy that was Father Peters that married them. And the groomsmen were Spence and Link, and the bridesmaids were Violet and Zoe. And they said their vows in English and Italian. I thought that was sweet. And it was a 200 wedding guest, 200 and wedding guests. And I was like, wow. And so Violet and Lincoln were competing for the best wedding present. And Violet's wedding present to Steph was Jace. And I was like, oh, wow, that's amazing. And Jace and Sal welcomed each other to the family, and Steph was crying. She was crying her eyes out. And Violet actually beat Lincoln on the best wedding yeah, she did. And then, well, maybe Lincoln wins because he brought Violet's parents, too. And he said, we might have been married by angels, but that doesn't mean you deserve a few wedding gifts yourself. And I see what you did there, Jess. I see what you did there, because what Evelyn said here, too. He said, even without my Gregory gifts, I can see what everyone else can see. Everyone, sweetheart, everyone. You're empowered, and that's what makes you luminous. And I love what Violet's dad said. He said, so I'm guessing they don't have any phones in the angelic realm. And Lincoln's face he is so freaked out, and the expression, like, that freaked out expression is so priceless. I was cracking up. And of course, the honeymoon is in Italy for Steph and Sal. Of course it is. And Griffin put Onyx in charge of the new task force to help the transition of the former exiles in New Orleans to humans. So he's running a halfway house. And Spence is coming back in a few days after Lincoln and Violet do with Chloe, and probably Mia too. And Lincoln's birthday gift to Violet, because she turned 21, is a divine platinum necklace holding a solitary lily pendant, a diamond nestled on each of its delicate petals, and a letter of acceptance to the Fenton course, which started next month. Remember what an embrace, that's what she was supposed to do? Yep. Best hubby ever, and I love the ending. Birthdays went from something to dread to Violet's favorite thing. Oh my Kami and Archie, this was my favorite book in this series. I love this book. I have to say that right now. And I love this writing, and I have to say my final thoughts of the series before I end this is that I love how, and Jessica Shervington does this in Disruption and Corruption as well, is that I love that she manages to put like a full story in each book, and there's so much character development in each story. It doesn't feel like you're waiting forever for character development like in a lot of other series. And it's not just one character developing, it's multiple character developing. And even characters she introduces in the book, like for example, like Josephine, her character developed within Endless, and then she took it further and developed it even further in Empowered. Or no, they met Josephine in Blaze. I'm sorry, it was in Blaze. She developed so much in Blaze, and took it further in Endless, and took it further in Empowered. And Violet's character was amazing. Like, I love how Violet's character developed. I loved how Onyx's character developed. I loved how Dapper's character developed. I love the mythology, and I hope you guys understand why I chose this series as my foundation for my hashtag Angel Readathon. So, yes. Up next for Book Nerdigans and Book Nerdigan discussions, as I said, will be Disruption by Jessica Shervington. The next series that will be in the hashtag Angel Readathon will be Penryn and the End of Days by Susan E. And that will be after Disruption and Corruption by Jessica Shervington. So remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, and also donate to my Patreon. I want to know what you guys thought of this series as a whole. I want to know what you guys thought of the character development, the writing. I love the writing in this series. I want to know if you guys felt the same way. And until next time, I will see you guys in Disruption. Bye!